That's better.
That's better. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mediocre Man Magazine. I'm your host, Mediocre Man. Today, I'm going to go over the very, very basics of screwdrivers and screws. So to start, in most cases, there are three major kinds of screwdrivers. There is the slot screwdriver, which is basically the original screwdriver, which is just a single slot. You'll find these quite often on old vintage hardware, but long story short, it's probably got the least amount of bite, but it holds on and it turns the screw. Basically, you take the slot screwdriver, it goes into a slot screw, and you turn and twist. So that is a slot screwdriver. Secondly, the Phillips screwdriver, some otherwise known as the plus symbol screwdriver, but that is the Phillips. That is up and down. This one has a little bit more bite, and it seems to hold on its own a little bit better, but also can be quite susceptible to stripping the screw. So I don't always recommend using the Phillips screwdriver. And third, last but definitely not least, my favorite type of screwdriver, not just because it's Canadian, but also because it's got the best bite when it holds onto a screw, and it's actually very good at holding onto the screw and it won't strip as much, is the Robertson, otherwise known as the square screwdriver. The Robertson screwdriver, okay? Okay, so those are the three major types. There are many other types of screwdrivers, but the most common screwdrivers that are used in the work industry for hardware is once again the slot, the Phillips, and the Robertson. Okay, next. Now, pilot holes. I've said it before in some of my other videos, and maybe I've gone too far ahead and people don't know what I mean by pilot holes. When you take a screw and you screw a screw through a piece of wood, it's actually splitting the wood open if there is no pilot hole. You need to remove some of the wood material. Now, how do you know which pilot hole, aka drill bit, to use? You basically line up, you take a screw, and you put a bit in front of it. You want the inner part to be the part you're cutting out, and then the teeth or the coil that come down it, that's what's biting into the wood. On this one, the bit is too big. It won't actually bite. Okay? So on this one, I need to get a bigger screw for this example, and this is a thicker or wider shank, as they say, and this one here will work very well. Okay? So this one here, it's going to cut out the center part, but leave where the coil is, so it bites into the wood. So if I take a pilot hole, and let's say I'm going to want to screw into this and through this. So first of all, I drilled through that. I start it, boom, and then I can take the Robertson screwdriver and you can start turning it home. Now you could sit there for a while. This is a thicker piece of wood. One thing I got to be careful of is that when I screw all the way through, I'm not going to come out the bottom end with the screw, so always measure to know how much. I've pre-measured to know it won't come out the other end. Okay? And then I can take this one, which is already ready as a drill bit. I'm going to take this out this time. I've reversed it out. I'm going to line up where I want to put it together. And then I'm going to go through both now. That's the pilot hole, which is the thickness of the shank, but it still threads. So it's actually going to hold the bite. And then I can now, to go do it even faster, I can use my DeWalt impact gun. Not a sponsor, but that would be sweet. Anyways, and for myself, I could just push the button and just what we refer to as send it home, basically go all the way. But for people who don't normally use drills or screwdrivers, I give the recommendation of using it like a squirt gun, like just squirt, 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 squirt. Okay, now it's at the surface. To make sure, it'll give an impact, it'll give it a loud sound to make sure I've screwed it tight. There. That cranking, the hammer drill action, sucks the two pieces together, and now, there, stuck together, okay? Now for this one here, for the same examples, I would just go, come up there, another one here. There, I got some pilot holes, all for different bits. So this one I would take the Phillips. Notice, I'm just giving a nice twisting action. It's not as much work because I've taken the middle out of it. And as I get to the bottom here, I haven't gone deep enough with the pilot hole because now it's getting really difficult to keep screwing. Now it's getting tough. So what I would probably recommend if you get into this situation, unscrew the screw so you don't strip the head, aka damage the screw itself. Re-drill the pilot hole deeper and then send it all the way home. And then, I mean, this one here as well, I would take the slot, screwdriver, and I've used all three types, and just send that one home. So once again, I have a slot screwdriver with the slot screw, I have a Phillips screwdriver, and I have a Robertson screwdriver. I mean, that's the basics of screws, screwdrivers, and handheld battery-powered screwdrivers and drills. Beer in the fridge today is by Mariner Brewing. It's called the Mariner Mystery Brew. It's a little fruity, normally a little fruitier than I normally would drink, but it's not bad. It is weird when it's a mystery brew. It's got a lot of ingredients on the back that it could be, so it kind of plays with your mind a little bit, trying to guess what it is. But you know what? It's pretty sunny out. The weather's just kind of taking a really good turn. Yeah, give it a shot. I would recommend it. I don't know if I'd crush all four of them, but definitely it's worth a try on a sunny day to share with a couple pals. As always, this is Mediocre Man Magazine, and I'm Mediocre Man. Cheers!